Now at 5, how a pair of private investigators in southwest Missouri helped crack a 35-year-old cold case. Plus, the Miami Public Library hosts an event to teach residents about financial literacy. And
the White House unveils hundreds of new sanctions against Russia 2 years after the invasion of Ukraine. I'm Natalie Brand with details of what they target and analysis on whether they'll make a difference.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A pair of southwest Missouri private investigators helped crack a 35-year-old cold case. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Tanya Bach. This week, 3 men were arrested in connection with the crime out of Douglas County. Chris Holland and Leslie Albrecht spent the last 2 years working on the case. It involved the 1989 death of Kellyanne Workman. The arrest came thanks in part to the work of Holland and Albrecht.
I kept feeling like Kelly was reaching out to me. It was just amazing. Whenever I passed her gravesite, I would look over and think, send me a signal. Give me something, Kelly. I'm trying. Help me, Kelly. I used to say that out loud. And we did it.
There was a person that came forward after almost 30 years of holding this inside that came forward and finally told us the last piece we needed to slide it all together.
Bobby Lee Banks, Leonard Banks, and Wiley Belt face charges of first-degree murder, kidnapping, and forcible rape in this case. Workman disappeared while mowing the grounds of a cemetery in Dogwood when she was 25 years old. Her body was later found in Christian County. Holland and Albrecht both started working on the case while working at the Department of Health and Senior Services. The Miami Public Library is promoting a different kind of literacy this week. Financial literacy. The library is hosting a financial literacy week for the first time. Throughout the week, area experts on budgeting, financial planning, and mortgages are presenting at the library. The public is invited to come learn and ask the experts any questions they might have.
I wanted to know more about finances and budgeting and loans. And so I think that this information should have been given to me in high school. However, I'm glad as an adult I have access to it at my public library.
The Miami Public Library says they plan to continue holding the Financial Literacy Week every year. You can find links to resources about the programming on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us.
Well, it turned out to be a great Friday for us today. Temperatures mid-60s for afternoon high. 65 is where we topped out. We started at 37 during the morning hours, but look at our average high. It's 52 degrees, so a good chunk above where we should be. 65 in Stockton, Anderson, 64 in Neosho. We have 68 in Miami, 66 in Oswego. Iola is sitting at 64 degrees. And it has been breezy. Northwesterly winds kicking in 10 to 15 to 20 miles per hour. But these are going to back down a little bit as we go through the overnight hours. We'll slide back through the 50s during the evening and then 40s, upper 30s once again. But Friday evening is looking pretty good. We just have some clouds kind of shooting through. Besides that, not a whole bunch going on. We're going to look at your weekend here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. The Biden administration announces a new round of economic sanctions on Russia in response to their ongoing war in Ukraine and the recent death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny while in prison. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
On the eve of the 2-year mark since Russia invaded Ukraine, President Biden is taking new steps to squeeze Russia's economy.
We can't walk away now. And that's what Putin is betting on. He's betting on we're going to walk away.
The administration announced its largest round of sanctions to date, targeting companies linked to Russia's war effort, such as the company that makes the steel used in Russia's attack helicopters. The sanctions also include entities outside of Russia, including in China and the United Arab Emirates. George Washington research professor Bob Ortung is an expert on the region.
I don't think it's going to stop Russia's war fighting. I do think it's going to undermine the economy over the long term.
The U.S. also sanctioned 3 individuals in response to the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny.
Make no mistake, Putin is responsible for Alexei's death.
The president is also imploring the U.S. House to pass much-needed aid for Ukraine. The White House says the war-torn country is having to ration ammunition and equipment. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer traveled to Ukraine to meet with President Volodymyr Zelensky Friday.
Cross fingers that we're still together.
It comes 10 days after the U.S. Senate passed a foreign aid package that's now held up in the House.
We are with you. The United States is with you. We will not abandon you. We will fight and fight and fight to get this needed aid to you.
Schumer says Zelensky told him Ukraine will lose the war without the vital aid. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
This latest round of sanctions means the U.S. has targeted more than 4,000 businesses and individuals since February of 2022. Former President Donald Trump and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley are making a final push to turn out voters in Haley's home state ahead of South Carolina's Republican primary tomorrow. Polls show Trump with a lead of more than 30 points against Haley, but she has vowed to stay in the race at least through Super Tuesday. She's been touting national polls that show she has a bigger lead against President Biden than Trump in a general election matchup. Still ahead, cyber criminals stepping up attacks.
There's been a major increase in the number of cyber attacks. I'm Christine Lazar, and I'll tell you how you can protect yourself.
And next in Health Watch, the American Red Cross says it's seen a growing diversity in blood donation. Topping today's Health Watch, this Black History Month, the American Red Cross is celebrating its partners in the Black community who've helped increase and diversify blood donations for patients with sickle cell disease. It's the most common genetic blood disorder in the U.S. and primarily affects Black people. Tareen Small spoke with donors and introduces us to one sickle cell warrior.
Multiple pageant winner Dima Hendricks has thrived in the limelight and persevered through the darkness.
I do remember the look on my mother's face when they realized I had a stroke at 11 years old.
Hendricks was diagnosed with sickle cell disease when she was just 6 months old. The genetic blood disorder impedes the cell's ability to carry oxygen, resulting in excruciating pain.
I've had open heart surgery because of blood clots. I've had severe, painful crises. I'm blind in one eye.
Before advances in drug treatments, the mom of two needed frequent life-saving blood transfusions.
Without the generosity of the people that donate blood for the Red Cross, I wouldn't be here.
Since the Red Cross launched its sickle cell initiative in 2021, the number of Black blood donors has jumped about 50%, regaining ground lost during the pandemic. Dr. Yvette Miller says about 1 in 3 Black donors will match a patient with sickle cell disease.
Because some of the antigens on our red blood cells are more common from people of African descent, we're more than likely to find the most compatible unit within the Black community.
The American Red Cross leans on community partnerships like this one with the Boy Scouts of America to help underscore the impact of Black blood donors.
If you donate blood, you're helping many people, not even just one.
First-time donor Jason Harmon rolled up his sleeves.
Sometimes you just need to volunteer, be a part of it in order to affect change.
Hendricks hopes more Black donors will give this life-saving gift to sickle cell warriors and anyone else in need. Torian Small, CBS News, Washington.
Well, a new study is shedding light on how the immune system may play a role in a person's risk of developing cancer. Researchers at Mount Sinai in New York found people with different versions of a gene have a reduced risk of lung cancer. They say the effect was particularly pronounced among smokers. It's hoped the findings will lead to more effective prevention strategies to combat cancer. New research published in the Journal of School Violence suggests lock drill exercises may help students feel safer at school. Researchers surveyed thousands of students from a large urban school district in New York. They found drills that involved locking classroom doors and turning off lights mitigated the harmful effects of exposure to violence. And that's a look at today's health news. A little later, an American spacecraft is back on the moon for the first time in 50 years. We'll see what its mission is.
Plus, our temperatures, they're going to be warming up as we head into the weekend. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice Friday for us today. Temperatures fantastic. Into the 60s again, and our allergies starting to creep back up. Juniper is the main one, kind of in the low to moderate range, which it's early, but These are already starting to creep up on us. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo's just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Looks good. Few little cumulus clouds out there, but in general, looking pretty good for Friday evening. Temperatures: 65 Chanute, Nowata 66, Grand Lake 67. Neosho, you're sitting at 64. Carthage, much of the same. 7th and Rangeline. Let's go outside, 64. Nice Friday evening heading into the weekend. It is windy, getting gusts in that 20 to 30 mile per hour range. Temperatures are going to slide back through the 60s, 50s, 40s, eventually upper 30s for you later on tonight. But here's those winds. Again, northwesterly winds, kind of breezy at times. We're getting those gusts 20 to about 25. These are sustained at this point in time. And the winds, they're going to calm down a bit as we get into tomorrow. Tomorrow night, they'll increase a little bit and then start to go back down as we head into Sunday. But still, it's going to be kind of breezy over the weekend. All right, some clouds kind of dropping through. In general, we look pretty good. There's not a whole bunch going on here. If we look all the way out to the west, a whole bunch of nothing, which that is going to be our weather as we head into the weekend. And then this storm system will start to affect us late Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. All right, let's work into your weekend. Temperatures tonight dropping back mid to upper 30s, so kind of chilly. As we go through the morning hours, plenty of sunshine. The winds start to switch back out of the south as we head into the afternoon, mid 50s by noon. I think most of us 62 to about 64 by tomorrow afternoon. So maybe a notch or two cooler than what we did see today. Tomorrow night looks good, not as chilly, upper 40s to near 50 degrees. As we go into Sunday, look at this. We pop well into the 70s. So Sunday is going to be a fantastic day across the area. If we break down your weekend, 63 tomorrow, plenty of sunshine. 72 Sunday, we will have some clouds, but a great Saturday, breezy Saturday night, warmer on Sunday, and we stay warm heading into early next week. So here's Monday, well into the 70s again, if not upper 70s. Tuesday, upper 70s, but a very strong cold front heading toward us Tuesday evening. It looks like most of the rain kind of develops to our east, but we could get a few thunderstorms and then snow to our north, and then we'll have to see if we mix with a little bit of snow as this storm system passes right on by. But we're going to make a little bit of a hot spot really from Joplin southeastward for thunderstorms by the time we head into Tuesday evening. Now, until then, we look great. 63 tomorrow, 72 on Sunday, 77 on Monday. Thunderstorm chances over to rain Tuesday into Wednesday of next week.
A weekend in the 60s and 70s. You can't beat that.
No, it looks great, especially for last week of February.
I'm loving this February so far. All right. Thanks, Doug. Well, an American spacecraft is finally back on the moon for the first time in more than 50 years. The lunar lander, named Odyssey, blasted off on a rocket last week and successfully landed on the moon yesterday. But it is unclear exactly where it touched down and when we'll see pictures from the surface. Mark Strassman has more.
We can confirm, without a doubt, is our equipment is on the surface of the moon, and we are transmitting.
A space milestone for a robotic lander named Odysseus, the first commercial moon landing.
10 miles to go.
And the first American touchdown into lunar dust since 1972.
Welcome to the moon.
Intuitive Machines reports Odysseus landed upright, but final descent was a nail-biter. The spacecraft lost its navigational capability, but found it was riding with luck. Part of its cargo, a NASA navigational experiment. Flight controllers tapped into it to help guide the lander softly to the surface.
This is the assembly room.
When we visited the company last year, CEO Steve Altimus showed us that NASA instrument.
This actually helps with navigation. It's running independent of our navigation system, but this is NASA's entrant into how you do precision landing on the moon without GPS.
NASA Administrator Bill Nelson.
It was a NASA payload that saved the day.
Odysseus targeted its landing near the moon's south pole, prized by NASA because its craters may contain ice, which would mean water, a necessity for deeper space travel.
Now we're having these commercial companies go way out there to the moon, and they are serving as scouts ahead of us sending our astronauts.
Odysseus has 1 week to work. Ultra-cold lunar night will set in and freeze its solar batteries. But what an arrival. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Atlanta.
1 week to live. Well, coming up, Pittsburgh residents get up close and personal with local businesses at the Business Expo. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Pittsburgh residents had a chance to get to know local businesses. The Chamber of Commerce today kicked off the annual Pittsburgh Business Expo. Companies have booths set up at the Meadowbrook Mall based on the theme Champions Hall. Officials say it's a chance for residents to learn about the people behind the businesses.
And it also gives them the opportunity to connect with the local community members as well. So it's just a great experience for community and business members just to meet each other. Businesses can show their products and services that they're offering, and it just gives our community a nice idea as to what's in their area.
The expo continues tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. A report shows there was a huge increase in data breaches across the country last year. Christine Lazar looks at what's driving the increase and what you can do to protect yourself.
Earlier this month, a children's hospital in Chicago was hit with a cybersecurity incident.
We took our systems offline, including phone, email, electronic medical record system, and MyChart, our patient family portal.
Last year, casino and resort owner MGM was hacked, shutting down slot machines and exposing customers' private info. The two cases are part of a massive increase in cyber attacks.
The previous all-time high was in 2021. We're up 72% from that all-time high. We had more than 3,000 data breach notices issued in 2023. Previously, we'd never seen more than a little over 1,800.
James Lee with the Identity Theft Resource Center says those 3,205 data breaches reached more than 353 million victims. Why do you think we're seeing such a steep increase?
You know, it's never any one thing, but we know that they're testing new kinds of attacks.
Lee says while the criminals have gotten more sophisticated, the notices sent to victims have not.
More and more data breach notices don't have any information about what happened. And that's risky because that means other businesses and individuals can't protect themselves.
That's why Lee says consumers need to take preventative steps. First and foremost, use a unique password for every website and application. The easiest way to do that is with a password manager. And always use two-factor authentication. And Lee says freezing your credit can prevent criminals from opening credit cards or other accounts in your name. Christine Lazar, CBS News, Los Angeles.
More than 120,000 gun safes are being recalled because of faulty biometric systems. The recall affects gun safes from Bulldog cases, Matcher, Mutech, and Ossafe. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, the locks on these safes fail to properly secure, allowing them to be opened by unauthorized users. The safes in question were sold nationwide and online on Amazon. Well, final check of the forecast is next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, Steve Hartman goes on the road for a story about a loss, love, and the healing power of forgiveness. And then on KOAM News at 6, we'll have more on a Southwest Missouri cold case finally cracked after 35 years. Plus, a conference in Neosho, Missouri aims to empower women as leaders. And a couple of football standouts at Seneca High School commit to stay in the 4 states as they enter the college level. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. We're in for a delightful weekend, though.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's going to be a chilly night tonight. We drop back into the 30s, but up to 63 tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine. 72 on Sunday. The winds will start to pick up a bit. Monday, we push 80. Same on Tuesday. Could even get some thunderstorms in here Tuesday evening.
Oh, nice. Well, thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And, of course, we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Have a great evening and an even better weekend.